I'm Gino Buccola here alongside Mike Beer. Thanks so much for joining us on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. We've got a Wednesday race of the day preview for you as we head on out to Gulfstream Park. We're going to take a look at race number 5. It's a first level allowance race, sprinting on the turf. Remember, free pass performances for every race of the day. And Mike, this is the first time you and I are teaming up. You are one of the longtime legends of this YouTube channel. So you're LeBron. I guess that makes me Luka Doncic now. So hopefully you and I team up and bring some winners to the folks here in these race of the day previews. What's your overall thought on the Wednesday turf sprint we're looking at here?
First thought is I'd rather be Luca than LeBron. Second thought is I think this is a really interesting race, Gino, because there's some talent in here, some very lightly raced horses, and I think the best thing about this race, at least in the interim stages, from my opinion, is you have a morning line favorite here in She's So Spicy, the 5, who's got some things going for sure. But if she's going to be favored against this field first time on the turf, I'm happy to bet against her.
Completely agree. She fits. You can understand why, because she's just, her resume is the best so far. It's proven on the dirt, but everything is on the dirt. And there are a lot of horses in that next tier of prices that just make sense. They're more intriguing. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go here based on value. Let's see what our friends at Time Corner US think as far as the pace projector is concerned for this one. And I mean, generally, Mike, when you get a field like this and it's a big field and you have these young fillies, horses that have, all sprinted for the most part, they're going to be going pretty quick. So, I mean, I expect it to be a pretty honest pace up front.
Thought the pace would be fast too. Listen, it's a 5 furlong turf race. Speed kills in these races. So I think even if you're projecting a fast pace, you probably want a horse who can at least keep up with it and not get totally outrun in these races. We'll see if She's So Spicy is fast enough on dirt. It looks like she probably is, but we'll see if she's fast enough to clear this field on a surface switch.
Let's meet the field, a very interesting field here. This is race 5 on February the 5th at Gulfstream Park. We start with the 1 Candy Quest. Going to get Lasix for the first time. Her only start, Mike, was a good one. She sat off a little bit at Belmont at Aqueduct. She was able to move through an opening, then kind of got stuck in a bad spot just behind the leaders, but waited. Kind of a professional effort. The only thing I would note out of that, the horses who have come back and run from second and third, the third place finisher came back and was beaten as a favorite against maiden 35 claimers. The runner-up has come back twice and finished second. So the race has maybe not come back as strong as we would like, but she got the job done.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that you bring up there. It doesn't seem like she beat the strongest field on debut. That being said, I thought she did a lot of things right in there. I
Yep.
mean, always traveled in that race. She did get a perfect trip overall, but she always traveled. To me, it always looked like she was going to win. She won that race convincingly. There's been a little layoff since then. There's a couple of breaks in the work tab. So it seems like everything hasn't gone perfectly for her since then. But just based on her debut, I think she can run a little bit. Dropping back from 6 to 5 isn't as easy as it might look
Yeah.
on paper. So I'm a little worried about that. But I think she's pretty talented, Gino. She gets Lasix for this. If she's ready off the left, I expect her to be a major player in here.
I think both of the Cassie horses can kind of
Yeah.
fit what you were saying. They're both talented, but they both have a little like spotty work tabs, some gaps here and there. So you wonder if maybe they had a hiccup or two along the way. We move to Smile Poe, Mike, who is a debut winner at 5.5 on the synthetic, 4 races on the synthetic. And overall, that's where they've done their best work. The only time on the turf was going 7.5. It was in the wait a while. Probably a race we can forgive because just didn't really get out of the gate and was way farther back than she had normally been. But she definitely seems like one who's done all her best work on the synthetic, and it's a tough read here.
Yeah, enough excuses for the turf race that you don't have to hold it against her. That being said, you have to sort of go back and try to judge her off the all-weather races, and they don't make her good enough, Gino. I thought it
Yeah.
was interesting that they only sprinted her once. It was on debut. She won that race pretty easily. Since then, it's been all 2-turn races. So maybe she's just a better sprinter, and maybe she deserves another chance on turf. But man, cutting back from 1.70 miles to 5, that is not easy to do.
Yep, she could be a little farther back than normal too, and we saw that didn't really work out all that well when she was farther back after that slow start. Don't Tell Tamamo is the next one. Was 2 for 3 on dirt to begin the career out in SoCal, and then tried the turf last time out. Was going long. It was in a turf stakes, completely different circumstances as this one. Now you get a new barn. You cut back. It's kind of a wild card here, but as you were pointing out with the previous horse, what she's done so far doesn't seem good enough to compete.
Just going to have to be way better on turf. And she's another one. The only turf start so far, you don't have to hold it against her. She was probably in too tough going a mile, and they're going to sprint her now. She's by a turf sire. There's plenty of turf on the bottom of this pedigree too. So maybe she'll handle it. She'll be a really big price in here, but she's going to have to improve a lot.
Next one, Dare to Breeze is the second Mark Casse runner in here. This horse kind of fits on the form. This what broke the maiden at Saratoga back in July. That was on the dirt, and then first time on the turf was in a stakes race up at Woodbine. She took the lead and had the lead late in the stretch and just got nailed. It was a pretty tough beat that day. So off this effort, losing to a horse named Mibago, who's pretty sharp, Mike, has been winning, I think, 3 out of 4 at stakes races,
Yeah.
and Florida has been very good down there. This is a good effort, but another one with some gaps in the work tab leading into this race.
Yeah, I'm torn about this horse because clearly she can win based off of this effort right here. You already pointed out Mibago, her stablemate, who runs her down right at the end. She's won 2 stakes races since then. The horse who was third, another stablemate who was gaining late ground in there. She was a 2-time stakes winner already on the way into that race. So, listen, she ran against a good field. She certainly held her own. That was a 5 furlong race, and she kept up with the pace. It's all good stuff, Gino. I feel like she's probably one of the shorter prices in here, and I just don't love her in this race, and that's why I sort of wanted to look for some other horses.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like she fits, but there feels like value wise, there might be some more intriguing others to look at. Let's go to She's So Spicy. She'll try the turf for the first time. Her dam was 2 for 3 on the turf. Lone loss came by a neck. So pedigree wise, she should be fine on the turf. Multiple stakes placed on the dirt, and then she gets that big cutback now to 5 furlongs. But first time Lasix, she did kind of spit one out here, and we have a replay of her race at Oaklawn. This was a stakes race, and I know it's going 6 furlongs, but when you're a horse that's supposed to win a race and you have the advantage like this, I just want to see you seal the deal.
Couldn't agree with you more here. She's 2 to 5, and she is clear all the way around the track, basically, in this race. She did sort of let a long shot go early and sort of tracked her, but she took over and just it looked like she was home free in the stretch here. She just doesn't finish at all. I don't know. Maybe 5 furlongs is better for her. Maybe she'll handle the turf, but I don't know about you, Gino. I don't see a ton of turf pedigree. I mean, the Matolis, I don't look at them as turf horses, although I guess he gets some winner sprinting. You already pointed out that the dam
It's
did
fine,
win. She won
right?
two of 3 on turf, but they're cheap races.
And I think this for her is more about the cutback, the
Yeah,
getting to 5 furlongs. And you and I can find 6 to 5 shots or less that we like more than this, I think, any
maybe.
day of the week. So for me, this is an under horse and not a horse that I'd be willing to put on the
Agree.
win in here at a short price. Let's go to Leia Mazania. What I thought was interesting about this one, Mike, is first couple starts, she shows really good speed. Then in her first start on the turf last time out, she showed the ability to sit off the pace. She moved right towards the wire, and then she got nailed by the favorite who was able to run her down. She was probably just a little too close to a quick pace there. And when we were talking about horses who have speed, who can sit close, but we know that she can also pass horses and she can come from off the pace a little bit. That versatility in these short turf sprints sometimes can be real key. So I think she fits pretty well in this group.
I like that about her too. I just feel like she could get the right trip in this race, and so maybe it helps her. That being said, and listen, the horse that ran her down last time was the favorite, and she's pretty good too. So I feel like she would have been a nice fit in this field. So those are all the positives. I guess the only negative that I had regarding Regino is I thought she got a perfect trip in that
She did.
race. It
She
just
did.
wasn't good enough to get the job. And it's not a terrible performance, but it's not a great one either. She is one of the horses in here that I'd like to use her somewhere, but I want to wait and see what kind of price she is.
Yeah, you get nervous about someone coming from behind and getting her. And the thing is, when I was kind of looking through this race, there may not be many of those horses in here, though. She may be a horse who can kind of fall into it and trip out and just get the better of some of those speed horses who are up front early. If she can sit a little bit off them, we'll see if she can get the trip. What do we do with Blossom and Erudite, who is a New York bred? The lone win came going 6 furlongs against New York breds. Basically got the lone speed that day. And she just doesn't seem fast enough to get that kind of a trip in here.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't bet her off of any of the races she's run so far. She was in a pretty tough allowance race most recently on the all-weather surface. They tried something new. She had speed, but she just wasn't good enough in that race. Challenging around the turn, no match. Got tired through the stretch. I thought she was in too tough.
Next one up, Laurice was a couple lengths off the pace last time out. Really, for the first time in her first couple races, she'd been sort of right on the lead or pressing. So she's the one that we know has some kind of versatility to her. She has some positional speed, but she can pass. She couldn't get to a horse who was setting the pace last time out and was able to hold on there. How do you think she fits in this spot?
I think she fits really well in here, and I wouldn't be too hard on her at all for the loss, despite being the favorite last time. Different surface, as you pointed out, different trip, and the horse that won it just got to the lead, and Laurice couldn't run her down through the stretch there. I think she's a better turf horse. I really liked her debut at Saratoga. I thought she ran an underrated race in the Grade 3, going 6 after that. This horse getting back to turf, I think, makes a difference, and I'd be surprised if you got the 6-1 morning line, but if you do, I would take it.
Outside two horses, Mike, they can really fly. First up, you have Thankfully, who has 21 flat speed last out, sub 43 or sub 44 half mile speed. You see 43 and change speed for these horses to the outside. So these two, especially with the outside draw, seems like they really only have one way to go, and they're going to try to be flying from the outside.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see more so what they do with the 9 than the 10. The 9 did show much improved
Yep.
speed last time, held on to the wire there. I thought that was a good performance. I actually like her more. I think she's a little interesting here, Gino, based off the race 2 starts back where she got beat by the 10, but she had an absolute no chance tripping there. Got away last, wide up the back stretch, dropped over, and then wide again through the stretch. But she was running at the end of that race. I think that points her out as a horse who might be better than she looks on paper.
Loved that she had those multiple dimensions she could show.
Yeah.
To the outside, as you pointed out, we probably aren't going to get Maddie R coming from off the pace. She'll get Lasix for the first time. Yeah, she went sub 21 2 starts back, and she
Yeah.
can really, really fly.
Yeah, she's got speed. I don't like any of her races, and I'll be shocked if she beats this field.
Well, we finish up the field here for the Wednesday race of the day. One more time, remember, you can get free past performances for every race of the day right on the website, DRF.com. What are you going to do with selections in here, Mike?
I'm going to go to the one of the Cassie horses. I'm concerned about the layoff and the sort of spotty work tab, but I really liked the debut from Candy Quest, and I just want to give her a chance in here to be ready off the left. She's really handy, Gino. I think she can get the right trip from the rail here, and I think she might be a fair price as well. So I'm gonna take her, and I'm gonna use the 8, Laurice. I think getting back to turf could be key for her.
What's really cool about this race, Mike, you and I don't have the heavy favorite on top. There honestly are 4 or 5 playable horses in this race. Seriously, if you like any of the 1, the 4, the 6, the 8, the 9, a lot of the horses that we're using, if they're the right price, they're absolutely playable in this race. I just like them more than she's so spicy. So there's our maiden voyage, Mike. It was a good job. Best of luck to you and to everyone out there on the Wednesday race of the day.